Once upon a time, in what quiet village beside a whispering forest, there lived a kind couple who wished for a child with all their hearts. Their cottage was small but warm, full of humming kettles and little hopes. "If only we had a child," the wife would say, touching the window where the morning sun rested. "One day," her husband replied, gently, "one day." At last the day came. The wife was expecting, and with the growing child came a craving as strong as the spring wind. "That scent," she sighed, dizzy with longing. "Just a bite, please." The husband, who loved her more than anything, climbed the garden wall at night and gathered the herb. She smiled, her color returning. "Thank you," she whispered. But the craving did not fade. "Just a little more," she asked, "for the baby." "I promise this is the last time," he said, and he climbed the wall again, only to be met by a gust of wind and a whirl of vines. The sorceress, Mother Gothel, stepped from the moonlit shadows. Her eyes were old forest green, and her voice was the rustle of leaves. "You dare steal from my garden?" she asked. The husband bowed, trembling. "Please, my wife is expecting. The rampion strengthens her. I meant no harm." Mother Gothel studied his frightened face. "What grows in this garden is protected, but I will make you a bargain rather than a curse. The child will be raised under my care. I will keep her safe. You will give her to me when she is born." The husband's heart clenched. He returned home with a bargain in his throat and tears in his eyes. When the child was born, a bright, golden-haired girl, the village bells rang with joy and sorrow together. Mother Gothel came softly, took the baby in her arms, and named her Rapunzel. Mother Gothel raised Rapunzel in a tower hidden deep in the forest, a tower with no stairs and no door, only a high window like a secret star. Rapunzel's room was filled with paints and books, warm bread, and songs that fluttered like birds. When Mother Gothel visited, she called from below, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And Rapunzel would lower her long, shimmering braid like a golden rope. Mother Gothel climbed up, bringing herbs, stories, and warnings. "The world is a tangle of thorns," Mother Gothel would say. "Here you are safe." Rapunzel listened. She was kind, clever, and curious, but her heart beat like a moth against a window pane. At night, she sang to the stars. Stone and sky and silver air, one small window everywhere. If the world is wide and true, will it make a place for me too? She painted the sunrise. She measured clouds with her fingers. She let little birds land on her braid and told them secrets. Her golden hair grew and grew as if every dream added one more gleaming strand. One day, a young prince rode through the forest, following a song that seemed to be stitched out of sunshine. He hid among the trees and watched as Mother Gothel stood at the base of the tower. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." The braid fell like a waterfall of light, and up Mother Gothel went, smooth as ivy climbing stone. The prince's eyes widened. The next day, when the forest was quiet and Mother Gothel had gone, he stepped into the same bright clearing. His heart thumped like a friendly drum. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," he called. There was a startled flutter from above. The braid unfurled cautiously, and the prince climbed. He swung into the window with as much grace as a clumsy cat and landed at Rapunzel's feet. "You're not Mother Gothel," Rapunzel said, gripping a paintbrush like a sword. "No," the prince said, hands raised, smiling sheepishly. "Please don't be afraid. I'm not here to trick you. I heard your song. It led me here." "Nobody has ever come here," Rapunzel whispered, astonished, "except Mother." "I've traveled through forests and over rivers," the prince said, catching his breath, "but I've never heard anything as beautiful as your voice. May I tell you about the world outside?" Rapunzel's eyes grew round. "Are there mountains that touch the sky and oceans that look like mirrors?" "Yes," he said, sitting on the windowsill, "and stars that dance every night without a roof to stop them." They talked until the sun yawned and slid away. They talked again the next day and the next. A friendship, steady and soft, sprouted like a seed. Rapunzel asked questions, 1,000 of them. The prince answered as best he could, and sometimes he just listened, which is another way of answering. One afternoon, Rapunzel said, brave and earnest, "I want to see the world. I want to choose my life. Will you help me?" "Yes," he said, without a heartbeat's hesitation. "I'll bring a plan tomorrow." But tomorrow brought trouble. When Mother Gothel climbed the hair that evening, Rapunzel winced and blurted, "Mother, why are you so much heavier than the prince?" Silence struck the room like a bell. Mother Gothel's eyes flashed with hurt and fear. "You let a stranger climb the tower," she said, her voice tight as thorns. "You foolish child." "I'm not a child," Rapunzel said, standing tall despite her shaking hands. "I only want to see the world, to be kind in it, to be brave in it." Mother Gothel loved Rapunzel the way a vine loves a tree, tightly, too tightly. In a rash, jealous rush, she snatched a pair of shears. With a single, shivering snip, the golden braid fell to the floor. The room felt suddenly cold. "I kept you safe," Mother Gothel said, her face crumpling. "But you have broken our rules." With a whirl of magic, wind, leaves, the scent of green, Mother Gothel transported Rapunzel far away to a quiet desert where the sky was very large and very empty. "You will never see him again," she whispered, and the tower felt hollow as old bones. But deserts hold secrets too. Rapunzel stood up, dusted off her skirts, and shaded her eyes. "Then I will learn the world from here," she said, "and the world will learn me." She built a small shelter out of reeds and stone. She learned to find water by following the flight of birds. She sang to the dry air, and little shoots of green threaded up through the sand. She kept herself busy and brave, and at night, when the stars spread like spilled sugar, she sang, that same bright song of hope the prince could never forget. Back at the tower, Mother Gothel tied Rapunzel's cut braid to the window hook. When the prince returned and called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," the golden rope fell. He climbed, smiling, heart light, only to find Mother Gothel waiting at the top. "Where is she?" he asked, the smile falling from his face. "Gone," Mother Gothel said, not triumphantly, not cruelly, just tired. "You will not find her." The prince stumbled back. His boot slipped. He fell from the high window into the brambly thicket below. The branches caught him, but the thorns brushed hard across his eyes, and darkness closed like night. He did not despair. He stood, steadying himself. He remembered her voice, the way it glowed, and began to walk, step by careful step, through forests and fields and quiet towns. People guided him with gentle hands and stories of a girl who sang to the wind. He listened, he learned, and he kept going. Hope, he discovered, is a kind of compass. Years passed, and far away in the desert valley, Rapunzel was not a frightened girl anymore. She could coax green from sand with patience and song. She could read the sky, she could laugh at the wind. And still, sometimes, she would climb a dune and sing, not because she was trapped, but because her heart was bigger than the horizon. One evening, as the sun melted into gold, a familiar voice called her name. "Rapunzel?" She turned. A man stood at the edge of the valley, dust on his boots, shadows where his sight should be. Even without seeing, he knew her. Even without certainty, he had found her. "Is it you?" she breathed, racing across the sand. "It is," he said, smiling through the tears he could not see. "I followed your song." She threw her arms around him, and in that warm, astonished embrace, tears of joy slipped down her cheeks. A few bright drops fell upon his eyes. The desert held its breath. The prince blinked, once, twice, and light returned. The first thing he saw was Rapunzel's face, brave and radiant as the morning. "You saved me," he whispered. "You saved me first," she whispered back. They did not return to a tower. Together, they went back through the forest and across the fields, not as a damsel and a rescuer, but as two people who had learned to be strong and kind. They built a home with open doors and windows that welcomed the wind. In the garden, Rapunzel planted rampion, tenderly, and the prince read maps aloud while bread baked and laughter bubbled. Sometimes, on market days, travelers would pause by their gate and listen to the music that drifted out, fiddle, laughter, a song that sounded like sunlight. And if Mother Gothel passed the forest's edge, alone with her regrets, she would hear that music too. Rapunzel would sometimes think of her and whisper into the breeze, "I forgive you." The wind would carry it away like a seed. As for the couple who had wished for a child, they were welcomed into the garden with hugs and stories and tears that tasted like joy. And the village learned a gentle thing: love cannot live behind locked doors. Rapunzel kept her courage. The prince kept his hope. Both kept their kindness. And so their days were not only happy, but free and wise and brave, as they proved over and over that the world is kinder and bigger when hearts are open. And if you ever stand in a wide place under a wide sky, listen closely. You might hear a bright voice singing. "Stone and sky and silver air, once a window, now everywhere. Let the world be wide and true. There is room for me and you." They lived together and well ever after.